The Naked DJs podcast. Are they really naked? We know they expose themselves every day just so they can bring you the best of music. They like to stick it out there for everyone to hear. You can hear their podcast on Anchor.fm, YouTube, and any of your favorite podcast platforms. Welcome to the Living the Dream podcast with Curveball. If you believe, you can achieve. Welcome to the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast, a show where I interview guests that teach, motivate, and inspire. Today, we're going to be talking about fibromyalgia. I know there are a lot of people out there suffering with that, so maybe you can get some information and learn about how you can get assistance that you might not be getting right now, as I am joined by Milly Velez. Milly is the founder of the Fibromyalgia Care Society of America. She was diagnosed in 2007 with fibromyalgia. She was frustrated after years of not getting the help and the care that she needed, so she founded the organization in the year 2015. The Fibromyalgia Care Society of America is the only entity that provides specialized programs like fresh food delivery and virtual assistance to the community. Milly, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Why don't you start off by telling everybody a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I'll start off with, I am a mom of 4 young adults, grandma of 1 precious angel. And like you stated before, and a person living with fibromyalgia. I was diagnosed in 2007, and life as I knew it changed for me overnight. I went from being a person with lots of energy and a photographic memory to being a person that could not remember my words, and that could not do everything that was being thrown at her anymore because of the fatigue. And I thought that the diagnosis would bring me relief. I thought that there was a miracle pill or a miracle cure out there that would help me go back to being the person I once was. And it took me years to figure out that that was not going to happen, but that there were ways to manage the condition. And since I've learned along the journey how to manage it, and how it takes an individual approach, because the way I manage it may be very different than the person sitting next to me also living with fibromyalgia. I felt it was my duty to share that with the rest of the community and use my background in social services to share that with the community as well.
So tell everybody, for those who might not be aware, tell us what fibromyalgia is, and tell us the symptoms and how somebody might know that they might have it, or know to try to get some help.
Sure. So fibromyalgia is a nervous system disorder. The most common symptoms are pain, fatigue, chronic pain, fatigue. So chronic pain that lasts, longer than a couple of months. Fatigue and cognitive impairment. It really does take a multifaceted approach to getting it managed, but it also takes a multifaceted approach, or doctors take a multifaceted approach to getting it diagnosed. Most doctors do what is considered a workup. So they will rule out every other autoimmune disorder before they give you a fibromyalgia diagnosis. However, today there is a blood test that can test for fibromyalgia, and not many doctors know of it because it's not something that they have access to in their labs. But there is a FM test that people that believe they have fibro can send for, and then their doctors can draw the blood and send it back to to these labs and give them a diagnosis. There also is a tool that was put out by Pfizer, and it is available online. It also is available on our website, where doctors can check off a series of questions, and based on the total score, they're able to say you meet the criteria for fibromyalgia. And this is something that we are pushing for doctors to use, either the blood test or this tool that is listed on the Pfizer website, but it was also developed by, the American College of Rheumatology. And we're pushing that because what the statistics say is that it takes 6.5 years for a diagnosis. And what we're finding is that people are unnecessarily suffering for many years, because if you don't know what you have, but you're living with daily fatigue, you're living daily with pain in your body, that takes a toll over time on the person. And we do know that there are modalities out there that can make the person feel more better, give them a better quality of life. So we feel the sooner the person can get the diagnosis, the sooner we can help them reclaim their lives and learn how to manage it, so that they're not unnecessarily suffering for so many years waiting for a diagnosis from a doctor.
Talk about the statistics. How many people do you think might be living with fibromyalgia, either in America or maybe even throughout the world?
You know that question, it depends on who you ask. There's such a huge range. I've heard 4 million, and I've heard up to 14 million. And I more recently, I was using the 7 million. I was like, okay, let me go right in the middle, and that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to go with the 7 million because it's right in the middle of what everyone else is saying. But more recently, I've updated that to be more 10 to 14 million, and that's more because of the pandemic. I'm hearing a lot of people are getting diagnosed with what's considered COVID fibro, and that they're developing fibromyalgia from the pandemic as a result of the pandemic. So because of that, and the more I go out and I meet with people in the community, and I'm seeing more people coming with this diagnosis, I've since changed my numbers to a wider range, but they're just guesstimates. No one has a number. No one is, there's no data bank that is even collecting this and saying, there's this many people, which there should be someone collecting that. But there hasn't been, and there currently isn't. It's all sort of guesstimates, and we're using what the NIH is saying or what the CDC is saying, plus what the other not-for-profits that have done work in the fibro community are saying, and then just coming up with this guesstimate based on those numbers. But there isn't really an accurate number out there for us, not yet.
We'll talk about your organization, Fibromyalgia Care Society of America. Tell us how you found it and how you are getting all the resources that you are getting. Is there some type of grant, or how are you funding all this?
So my organization, or our organization, because it's a not-for-profit, it doesn't belong to me, it belongs to the constituents, was founded in 2015, and it actually came out of a fundraiser. So I had been, researching fibromyalgia and what was out there for the community, and I kept seeing there were many crowdfunding walks out there for the community and bringing people together. And what I had found from the beginning of my diagnosis, when I was gathering with the community and getting to know more people with fibromyalgia, I kept hearing how people felt misunderstood and how they felt alone. So out of that, I had an idea that I wanted to do a walk to bring the community together so that they can see how many of us are there and that we're not alone, and so that we can raise awareness and get more of the attention that we should be getting. And what I learned really quickly on from that walk was that people needed more than a walk. People were coming to me, they were sharing their stories with me. They were telling me some heart-wrenching stories. And my background, as I said earlier, has always been in social services. So I went, as I was planning the walk, I started thinking, how can I fill this void in the community 365 days a year? It's not enough to just have one walk during the month of May and everyone feels great and everyone's happy, but then everyone goes back to their home and they don't have any support. And that's how the FCSA was birthed. It was birthed out of a crowdfunding walk that I did that year. The money that was raised did go to another not-for-profit because I did not have a not-for-profit at that time. But that same year, I did file for my 501c3, and we started the FCSA. And me knowing that there wasn't much out there, especially a lot of people weren't paying attention or really caring about the fibro community, I focused my efforts on two things. One was continuing to do events to bring the community together, and at the same time also fundraising for the community. And I was doing this on a volunteer basis. I had a full-time job at that point. And through that, I was able to raise the funds that I have today to do the programming that I'm currently doing. But we do not get any government money. We don't get any city, state, or federal funding. I'm hoping now with my plan with the virtual coordinated care program, which is slated to start in January, is that we will have the data necessary to go back to these entities and say, we developed this program and it works. And I can prove to you that it works because I have the data to prove that it works. And how are you going to help me and help millions out there that need our help? Because the program that I'm currently starting is only in the state of New Jersey, but it can be rolled out easily to other states. But obviously, we need funding for that. We need money to do that because we need the people. I'm lucky to have volunteers that help me with stuff. I'm lucky to have some people that have come on as employees or as consultants, but are not being paid what they're worth. But they're doing it because it's work that's coming from the heart, because the cause is near and dear to them, and they believe in the model, they believe in the program, and they know that it's necessary in the community. So I'm hopeful that in 2022 we will have grant money and foundation money, but currently we are only operating on donations that we get from people that hear about us and people that come to our events and support us.
Well, tell us about, you talked about the virtual coordinated assistance program. Tell us about the programs that you do have with your organization.
Sure. So we started rolling out programming this year during the pandemic. And what we initially started with was emergency assistance grants. So I kept hearing how, we were in the middle of the pandemic, and I was hearing how so many people were losing their jobs, how there were so many people living with food insecurities, how many people were, all over the United States and the world were being impacted by the pandemic. And me knowing that, fibromyalgia is a nervous system disorder, and that stress can exacerbate our symptoms, it concerned me for my community. I was like, okay, so, but what is being done for the community? So we started with offering emergency assistance grants to people that had been impacted by COVID-19, who had either been unemployed or had been impacted in some way. So one of the other things was we did have a recipient that was a nurse that, although she wasn't unemployed, she was working, but because she was working in the healthcare system and the ACA had given only this, I think it was like 10 days of leave that they can use for COVID. And her story was that every time she got sick, she had to be put out of work, but now she had exhausted those days. She had exhausted her days, but now it was financially impacting her because now she wasn't being paid the days that she was home because of COVID, and we were able to help her as well. So it wasn't only unemployed people, there were people that had very particular stories that were impacted financially by fibro. And what I saw was, although we put out different grants, and we put out grants, we did a rental assistance grant, we did a utilities assistance grant, and then we put a food assistance grant. And what I saw was for the food assistance grant, we got a lot of applications. That was where most of the need was. So out of that, we then developed the fresh food program, where we deliver fresh food boxes every 2 weeks to people living with fibromyalgia. We do deliver it to their home because, as I stated in the beginning, one of the symptoms is fatigue, and there are many people living with fibromyalgia that are disabled, unemployed, or homebound because of fibromyalgia. So we were like, we can't ask these people to come to us to pick up a box that may be even too heavy for them to carry, or that they may not even be able to be transported back and forth. So we deliver the food to them. And then now the third programming that we're going to be launching in January is the virtual coordinated care program that I spoke about.
Can you tell us more about that program, or you just want to wait till it gets closer?
No, I can tell you more. I'm really, really proud of this program. So we are starting a virtual coordinated care program, and which also came as a result of the pandemic. We always wanted to do a coordinated care program. That was always one of our goals from the beginning. From 2015, when we started the FCSA, we were always talking about a center of excellence, and it was going to be a coordinated care program that would have wraparound services. And what the pandemic taught me was that we can do this virtually. And the more I thought about it, it made more sense. It made more sense because, especially with our community, which I said earlier, from one day to another, they can be struggling with chronic fatigue and may not be able to get up and get out of their house and make it to a building where we would be providing services. It also made more sense because it's open to like I said, the pilot program is open to the state of New Jersey. So it also opens us up to, I'm located in North Jersey. So it opens us up to people from South Jersey, people from Central Jersey living with fibromyalgia can also join, because they're joining from the comfort of their home. So it made more sense to do it virtually. And we're going to be providing case management. So everyone will be assigned a case manager, and the case manager can help them, will help them meet their goals. So they will set up goals from in the beginning. Some will be short-term goals and one will be a long-term goal. Many people that I've spoken to and people that have applied have said, I used to work and fibro took that away from me. I want to be able to work again. So that may be the long-term goal. It may be, where you want to work, that's your long-term goal at the end of the program. We're gonna help you do what you need to do so you can go back into the workforce. But what do you need to do before you can get there? Will be the short-term goals. And then we also have a social worker that is a person living with fibromyalgia herself. And she will be providing talk therapy to anyone who wants it. That is not mandatory. That is something that we are offering. And we're hoping and we will encourage people to attend that, because we do see, or what we do know, there's so many unknowns with fibromyalgia, but what we do know is that the root cause is trauma, and it could be physical trauma or emotional trauma. And so we will encourage people to speak with our social worker and hopefully work through whatever that particular trauma in their life is, or the traumas that have been. We will also be doing a lot of groups with our participants, and the groups will all will all be around things that we can use to manage fibromyalgia. So for an example, a group could be, we'll have a meditation group. We will have a journaling group, get it out on paper. We will have a dance group. We will have, we will teach people about scent therapy. And the goal is that they will have access to all these groups. They will try all these groups, and they will find what can help them calm the nervous system. But more importantly, the next time stress or any trauma shows up in their lives, they will they will remember that, and they can go back and use those modalities to help them. To help them so that their nervous system is not impacted once again, and causes them more fatigue, more pain. We will also teach people about stretching. Stretching is also good for the pain. We will teach them about nutrition and certain foods that help with inflammation. If you have inflammation in your body, it's going to show up as pain in your body. So, how can we control that inflammation? And sometimes that inflammation can come from the food we eat. Sometimes it can also come from the stress that shows up in our lives. So just also noticing those things, being mindful of that. What, I'm not feeling so well today. My fibro seems to be flaring up. What happened, or what happened that I'm feeling like this again. So I think that wraps up the virtual coordinated care program, as much as I want to talk about right now. Do you have questions about the virtual coordinated care program?
Well, the question I have is, you talk about delivering fresh food. Tell us the types of food that people with fibromyalgia would be better off eating or not eating.
That is also very individual. What I will say is that what I do hear a lot in the community, and I've heard for a very long time in the community, is that we are not supposed to eat vegetables, like nightshade vegetables. So, for example, like tomatoes and eggplants, that people with fibromyalgia have trouble eating that and sustaining that in their system. And I'm a person that I can make a mean eggplant lasagna and eat it, and I will not have any reaction to it. I love my tomato and cucumber salad. I don't have any reaction to it either. So it is very, very personal and individual with fibromyalgia. So when we deliver the food, we also make people very clear of that. If you do have a problem tolerating it, please let us know, and either you can give that to another family member or someone else, or just let us know so that we make sure not to put it in your box the next time. I've delivered nightshade vegetables to all of our recipients, and I have not heard that any of them have had any reaction to it. We also, in their fresh food delivery boxes, at least once a month, we do put in a calming tea that is actually locally grown here in Newark, New Jersey, and they love that as well. They haven't had any problems with that either. So it is very individual.
Well, you talked about what you have coming up in January. Is there anything else that people need to know about that your organization is going to be trying to do in the future?
We're going to be trying to bring this program to as many states as we can. So although we are putting out the application and saying that it is for New Jersey, there have been people that have applied in other states. So if you are listening from another state and you would want to be part of this program, please feel free to either send me an email or just fill out the application, and we will have your information. And as we start launching the program in other states, we will make sure that that you're on that list. Because currently we're only in the state of New Jersey, we're starting with 12 participants. And as of today, we are almost at capacity. And then after that, it's going to be a waiting list. And the cohort does go for 6 months. So there probably won't be space opening up back up till July. So if you are in the state of New Jersey, please apply as soon as possible. There's a first come, first serve basis. And if you're in another state, you're also welcome to apply. We will reach out and let you know that we received the application, and that once we are able to bring this program to your state, that we will reach out to you and we will make sure that you are at the top of the list, because it is a first come, first serve basis.
How can people help that want to assist your program?
That's a great question. So we have tomorrow for Giving Tuesday, we're going to be putting out 5 different ways that people can get involved, but I'm going to tell you my top 2 today. My top 2 is if you want to volunteer with us, regardless of what state you are in, if you can donate 1 hour every 2 weeks and $20 every 2 weeks, please reach out to me. We can use you to help us with the fresh food program. We want to deliver food to people in different states, and we are looking for volunteers in different places that are willing to donate $20 and 1 hour every two weeks to help out with the fresh food program. And then the second way, as I mentioned before, we only operate on donations. At the current moment, we don't have any grant assistance. So obviously, another way is to get involved is by donating. And I said 2, but I'm going to bring 3. And also, doing the event in your local city. We do have, during the month of May, the Caterpillar Walk, which happens in New York and New Jersey. And in the past, we've had it in Florida, we've had it in the Bronx, we've had it in different places because people have hosted it in different places. So that's another way. If you want to bring an event to your city, to your state, an awareness event, please reach out. We will give you the tools. We will help you. We will walk you through it. And if we're able to be there, we will. If not, we can celebrate via Zoom with you.
Go ahead and throw out the contact information, your website, social media links, any way people can connect with Fibromyalgia Care Society.
Sure. So the website is www.fibro.org, and you can find us on all social media by searching Fibro Cares, F like in Frank, IBROCARES. We're on all social media, and you can find us either with that hashtag or just at Fibro Cares.
Okay, give us some final thoughts to close it out.
Final thoughts. My final thoughts is it takes a community to make change. So please, once again, if you want to get involved, and even if I know I said 3 ways, and if you think you can't help in any of those 3 ways, but there's another way that you would like to help, please reach out as well. It's going to take many voices, many hands, and many people with caring hearts to come together and enact change for the fibromyalgia community.
Ladies and gentlemen, Milly Velez from Fibro.org. Share this to as many people as possible in the fibromyalgia community. And if you would like to volunteer, you know what to do. Go to the website, contact Milly, let her know how you can help. Android listeners, go to the Google Play Store, download the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast app. Get this shared so we can assist the fibromyalgia community in any way we can. Milly, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
For more information on the Living the Dream podcast, visit www.djcurveball.com. Until next time, stay focused on living the dream.